Hi, my name is Sarah and my channel is knottygnome Crafts. Welcome! I've been sewing since 2005 and I really love making my own clothes, but I also love finding interesting and new ways to style them. So I hope that you'll join me today for my video, which is going to be all about my recent makes. I will have links to all of the patterns in the description box, and I've also recently restarted my blog, so if you want more details about these makes, head on over there and check out my blog post because I do have a lot more information there. Let's just get right into it. The first thing that I want to share with you is the Seamwork Madu top. Now I know that that's someone's name, so I apologize if I'm butchering it, but this was a pattern that I downloaded with part of my $1 membership. I just joined Seamwork for 1 month to try it out. I cut the size 00, and that seems to fit really well. And I also made a change that I cut the size 4 for the elastic measurement at the waist because I knew that my waist was bigger than the 00 pattern, but because the actual garment is just straight up and down, the elastic is really the only thing that brings it in at the waist. And as long as I cut that elastic to be a little bit longer, it fit comfortably in my waist and it wasn't too tight. The fabric that I used is a leftover cotton eyelet fabric that I bought from Joann Fabrics last year, and I made a Love Notions Rhapsody dress out of it. And I had about a yard left, and so that was plenty to make this top. Now for the facings, I did go ahead and use a thin cotton voile that I had purchased from fabric.com because I didn't want to try to sew the facings and make it too thick with the eyelet. However, I will say that the cotton voile I think is a little bit too lightweight for the elastic. It would have been better if I had used something a little bit heavier, like even like a standard quilting cotton. I really like the way that this blouse fits. It's a nice shape. I really like that it's a peasant style, but most peasant style blouses have more like a boat neck shape and then you can wear it off the shoulder if you want. This one has a really deep scoop neck, which I just thought was an interesting and unique detail. I think that it looks really sweet in the cotton eyelet. And although we're at the end of summer, and so I don't think I'm going to get a ton of wear out of this blouse this year, I do think I will get it out next year and wear it a lot. It looks really nice with high-waisted pants and skirts, and I'm really glad that I made this and was able to squeeze it in before fall comes. The next top that I want to talk about is the Seamwork Ellie. This is a Henley style knit top, and I made the size 0 at the chest and I graded out to a size 2 at the waist and through the hip, and the fit of that was really good for me. I did find it interesting that I did not have to shorten these long sleeves at all, and actually I would say they're maybe slightly short on me. It makes me think that the intention of the pattern was that they're supposed to be 3/4 length or 7/8 length or something, because I did find them to be a little bit short. I'm only 4'9", I have really short arms. So if you do want them to be full length sleeves, you probably will need to lengthen them a little bit. Now the fabric that I used for this was probably not a good match for the pattern. I used a cotton spandex rib sweater knit that I got from Knit Pop, and I had about 2 yards. And this is not even a very thick fabric. I would say it's kind of like a moderately thick fabric, but it was too thick for this pattern. When I tried to sew the placket, there were just too many layers. It was really, really difficult with the interfaced plackets to get them to go through my machine. I tried to make buttonholes several times and I could not get my machine to sew a complete buttonhole. I ended up ripping out the buttonholes and just stitching the buttons directly through the entire placket. So my button placket is non-functional. Now I don't really care. I think that it's fine. I can just pull it over my head and wear it. But I do think that if I made this top again in the future, I would definitely choose a thinner fabric and would probably only interface 1/2 of the placket instead of the whole thing to make it a little bit easier to maneuver under my machine. I also ended up with a little bit of bunching here, and I do think that that is due to the thickness of my fabric. But overall, I have to say I'm really happy with the fit of this. I think that it might be slightly long from the shoulder to the chest. I do think that I'm a bit short there, so maybe next time I would take a little bit of length out of that area only. But otherwise, I think the fit is really nice, and this is a nice basic color that will go with so many things. I think it's going to be a staple in my fall wardrobe. Next, we have 2 versions of the same pattern. So I wanted to make the Vanessa Pose wanted tee with a beautiful square neckline with mitered corners. And I actually made 5 of these, but only ended up with 2 wearable garments. Now, the problem is that the first fabric that I chose was a cotton rib knit from Knit Pop that did not have any spandex. It was mechanical stretch only. And that was a terrible fabric choice because the fabric stretched out, and when I made it the first time out of that other fabric, the neckline was just really gapy and it looked terrible. And so I tried to downsize the pattern to accommodate for that. And the second version was not that great either. And so I tried a third version in a different fabric. But because I had tried to downsize the pattern for that other fabric, the third version was too small. So I scrapped all of those and I went back to the drawing board, reprinted the pattern, and for these versions I made the size 34 at the shoulders and I graded up to a size 36 at the chest, and then I carried that 36 down through the hem. And that fit pretty well. This fabric choice, this was another Knit Pop cotton spandex jersey. It's pretty thick and substantial. I think that this was an excellent fabric choice for this particular pattern because it holds the neckline really well. This one is actually a rayon spandex jersey that I got from Threadbare Fabrics, and you can see it's actually the leftover of what I am wearing. This is my Pattern Scissors Cloth Galaxy tee. And this one, because this is a really soft, drapey, lightweight jersey, I would say that it's not quite as good of a fabric choice as the cotton spandex, but I think it turned out pretty nice. Now I did end up shortening the sleeves for both of these. For this elbow length sleeve, I shortened it 1/2 inch, and for this long sleeve, I shortened it 2.5 inches, and I think that that's just right for me. I think that the fit is pretty good now that I'm using the right kind of fabric, and I really, really love the square neckline and how elegant it looks. I like the fitted tee. I think that it matches really well with lots of things in my wardrobe, and I definitely also want to try the dress version that I had bought as an extension pack on down the line. If you enjoy my videos and you would like to support the channel, I would really appreciate it if you'd give me a thumbs up, because it signals to YouTube to send my videos out to new viewers. Thank you so much. The fifth thing that I have to share with you is another Pattern Emporium Keep It Simple Babe tee. This one is made out of a Lady McElroy crepe knit that I got from Minerva last year. It's in the infamous Cobra Corsage pattern. This style is not normally me, but I just thought that the fabric was so cool that I actually bought it in 2 colorways, and this one is the lighter one. So the reason that I made this particular t-shirt is because I wanted to compare it to the Wanted. This has a square neckline, but it's a very different square neckline. You can see that it has more of a rounded edge. It's a little bit softer, and I just wanted to see what the 2 t-shirts looked like and which one I liked better. Now this is my 10th version of the Keep It Simple Babe tee. It's my favorite t-shirt pattern. On this version, I sized down to the size 6, and I think that actually fits me a little bit better than my other versions that I had made in a size 8. I used the high square neckline that has a binding on the inside. I did the short sleeves and the shorter body length. Now this fabric did give me some trouble. I've made one other garment out of this type of fabric and my cover stitch machine absolutely hates it. So I had a lot of trouble doing the neckline with this binding. I did manage to get it sewn down in the end, but because I had so much trouble on my cover stitch for the hems of the garment, I decided to try something different. So I set up my new serger to do a lettuce hem, and I actually really like the way that it looks. I think that it has a very like 90s touch to it, and I really think that this softer hem detail really suits the style of the top. It's nice and flowy and drapey, so I do really like this top. I think ultimately I decided that I like the shape and the fit of the Wanted tee a little bit better on me, but I'm sure that I will still wear this a lot. I think that the print is just so unique and fun, and I can't wait to style it with different things in my closet. The sixth make that I want to share with you is the Closet Core Cali dress. I bought this absolutely beautiful plaid linen from Blackbird Fabrics, and I wanted to get it sewn up right away, and in my head I just had this vision of a Cali dress. So I've made the shirt before but not the dress, so I kept the same size 0 that I had made last time, and I didn't make any fit modifications. I actually feel like the dress came out just the right length on me, and I am quite short, so I would imagine that the original hem length on other people is probably quite short. On me, like I said, it's just right. It just hit me above the knee, and that's exactly where I would want it to be. So there are lots of options with this pattern. I chose the dress with the full button placket. I put a lot of the contrast details on the bias so that I would not have to worry about matching the plaids. I did the yoke on the bias, although the inner yoke is actually on the straight grain. I tried to match up the plaids as best as I could, and it's not my best work, but I think that I did a pretty decent job. And I did do the bias tape hem with some contrasting quilting cotton that was in my stash, and I do really like the way that that's sewed on. It was very easy to apply, and I like the finish of it, so I think I would try that again in the future with maybe some other garments. I had forgotten just how simple this pattern is to put together. I will say that I do things in my own order. I don't really like the way that the instructions tell you to do the collar, so I just kind of did it my own way. But if you've made shirts before, it's really relatively simple to put together because you don't have the whole issue with the sleeves and the cuffs and all that. I'd say it's pretty quick and simple compared to other shirts that I've made. Now I did go ahead and sew a fabric belt because I had just enough fabric left over to cut one out, and I decided why not. A lot of times I'll probably either wear it with a purchased belt or maybe even just open. I did style it in the video clip just left open, wearing it like a duster, and I really like the way that that looks. I think that it's a really good approach to extend the life of the dress into the fall. But I do really like it as a dress or as a duster. I really love these colors. I think that they're just gorgeous. And I'm really excited to have this dress in my closet, and I want to make more of these Calis in the future. The seventh make that I have to share with you is the I Am Patterns rainbow dress. And I made this dress as part of a collaboration with Michelle Says Again for her Sew Purple to End ALZ challenge. So I did do an entire video about this dress, so I'm going to link that in case you want to go check it out. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I really appreciate that you take time out of your day to watch my channel. And I'll see you again next time.